us be lovers, we'll marry our fortunes together. Got some real estate here in my bag, so we bought a pack of cigarettes, Mrs. Wagner pie, and walked off to for America. Kathy, I said as we boarded a Greyhound to Pittsburgh, Michigan seems like a dream to me now. Took me 4 days to hitchhike from Saginaw. I've come to America. Laughing on the bus, playing games with the faces. She said the man in the gabardine suit was a spy. I said, be careful, his bow tie is really a camera. Toss me a cigarette, I think there's one in my coat. I smoked the last one an hour ago. Ooh, so I looked at the scenery. She read her magazine, and the moon rose over an open field. Kathy, I'm lost, I said, though I knew she would see me. I'm empty and achy, and I don't know why. Counting the cars on the New Jersey Turnpike, they've all come to look for America. Oh, come to look for America. Oh, come to look for America.
Good morning and welcome to the First Universalist Church of Rochester, where we are called to nurture the spirit and serve the community. Whoever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Whomever you love, we welcome you. If you come with names of those who died in the service of our country in your heart, we welcome you. If you come with a wish for future peace and understanding, we welcome you. We welcome all of you. It is good to be together this morning. If you are here for the first time this morning, we especially welcome you. Just so you know, my name is Reverend Michelle Yates. I am the Minister of Lifespan Faith Development here at First Universalist. Reverend Lane Campbell is away one Sunday a month, and this is it. At the top of our online service, we want to invite you to please remain muted throughout the service. When too many voices sing or speak together, it can create a cacophony of voices on our audio, which can disturb the flow and experience of worship. As we gather this morning, we want to invite you to pop into the chat and offer a greeting. You can find this at the top or the bottom of the screen with an icon of a text bubble and the word chat. So please pop on over and offer a It could be a wave of hello or an I'm here or whatever you prefer. Welcome to worship at
Tom, you're still muted.
Interesting that this is still very glitchy.
How's that?
You got it.
It's all right now?
Yes.
Okay. Happy Memorial Day, everybody. Memorial Day, formerly known as Decoration Day, originated in the American Civil War when citizens placed flowers on the graves of those who had been killed in battle. A large observance, primarily involving African Americans, took place in 1865 in Charleston, South Carolina. But by congressional proclamation in 1966, Waterloo, New York was cited as the birthplace. The first Memorial Day parade was held there in Waterloo in 1866. My own family tradition was to take the special green crock. It was green because we were an Irish Catholic family, and God bless the color. We would take it to the local nursery to be filled with plants, ferns, geraniums, flowers, and then the crock would be placed on the family graves. Then on to see the parade as it passed by my grandparents' house and the first picnic of the summer. In keeping with the true meaning of Memorial Day, I visited the Vietnam Memorial in Highland Park on Wednesday. I had been there several times and knew exactly what I wanted my call to worship words to be, something that is there, chipped in marble. A poem called Remember Them by Major Michael Davis O'Donnell, I read and recite these words today in honor of and in memory of Douglas Allen Ross of Temple City, California, who gave his all on January 26, 1969 at age 20, and Robert Waldron Forbush Jr. of Rochester, New York, who gave his life on May 3, 1967 at age 19, and for all the others. Remember them. If you are able, save for them a place inside of you, and one backward glance when you are leaving for the places they no longer can go. Be not ashamed to say you love them, though you may not always have. Take what they have left and what they have taught you with their dying, and keep it with your own. And in that time, when men decide and feel safe to call the war insane, take one moment to embrace those gentle heroes you left behind. Come, let us worship together. Please join me now as we light the flaming chalice, the symbol of our liberal faith. May we be a people of welcome, here to grow in heart and mind and spirit, and may we reach out to serve our community. Please join me now as we recite the affirmation of faith and sing the doxology. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity and fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the source and meaning of life. Thus do we covenant with each other and with all. This is Social Justice Plate Sunday, when we share our offering to address needs in the wider community. Today, we encourage you to give as you are able to the United Way of Greater Rochester's Community Chest Fund. This fund was created in response to the COVID-19 pandemic and its economic impact to provide funds quickly to frontline humane service organizations, those that serve low-income and vulnerable citizens, to help with immediate needs like food, shelter, clothing, childcare, and hygiene products. These organizations are under extra stress because their operations have been disrupted, like everyone else's, by the need to provide for the safety of their own volunteers and staff, while at the same time the needs of the people they serve have greatly increased. To give, copy and paste the link in the chat. You may also visit the United Way of Rochester's website. May the offering of a congregation be given in love and received in gratitude.
Well, thank you, Brock. And inviting any children that are home there with you who might be wandering around the house if they wanted to come into the room for the story. And also to check on my sound. I heard it was a little weird before this. Are we good? Not all over? Great. Excellent. Yay. So I hope maybe some of our young friends can join us. And if not, please just send my love. I miss them so much. I also love parades. So this is a story from my life. I love parades. And I am so sad not to be able to take my 2.5-year-old son, Walter, to one this year on Memorial Day. The marching bands, I know he would love the fire trucks, the old-fashioned cars, the politicians, the drum and bugle corps, the scout troops, winners of annual prizes, businesses, candy, and veterans posts. Almost each one with a flag and honor guard in front of their group. An honor guard is when they have people with a saber or rifle, not real, standing next to the flag, guarding it. And my mom, because my mom and dad both met in the Air Force and served for a great deal of time, my mom would stand up and salute, I'm sure I'm doing it wrong, forgive me, each one. In my youngest memories, it was fun to stand and salute along with her. I asked, why do you do that? Not everybody does. And she pointed out to me other veterans, people who had served in the US military, who were doing it too. Even those who couldn't stand still saluted and sat up straight. My mother said it was part of their promise in serving to always give honor to the flag. When I was a little older, I would still do it with her until I got bored and tired. I thought I looked extra loyal and special like my mom, standing up and sitting down, standing up and sitting down. And then came a time when I was a bit older that I found it embarrassing. Why do you do that for every single one? It's embarrassing. Sit down. You've been out of service for a long time. My mom said to me, when I first promised to do this, it was out of duty. But once upon a time, a commander saw my unit being kind of lazy about it and told us, what if you were really called upon to answer the call to an actual war, or more likely, a call to defend what America stands for, liberty and justice for all? These things are challenged every day. This is an ideal that we are all called to bring into being as Americans. What if you are called to stand up for a fellow serviceman or a friend or anyone you see who is being discriminated against, bullied, or treated unjustly for any reason? It takes a lot of courage and strength of will to stand up in that moment. Not at all like the willpower it takes to stand up and salute the flag every few minutes in a parade. But this is practice. This is good practice. To be committed to stand up for the ideal of America symbolized by the flag, no matter the inconvenience, no matter the embarrassment, no matter what. This is the call you have answered, and it doesn't end even when your active duty does. Now, I will admit, I do not stand for every flag in every parade. In some ways, I don't want to give the false impression that I served and sacrificed like our veterans have. I do, however, stand or sit a little straighter and remember that I'm called to stand for the ideals of America that are symbolized in the flag, to help people, to try to make our country as just and fair as I can, for when I see something happening that doesn't seem right, to stand up and do something about it. To fight for democracy, each person's right to vote, for freedom and justice, to be treated fairly, to not be treated unfairly based on religion, race, gender, ability, or who you love. This is the dream that the soldiers we remember today fought and died for. This is the dream that we are called to take up and fight for each time we are asked to stand for the flag. Thank you so much for coming in, perhaps to listen to the story today. It is good to be together. I invite you into this reverent time of sharing the joys and sorrows of our gathered community. If you would like to, you can place your hand over your heart to be able to listen from this heart-centered place. As we place stones into a bowl, please share your joys and sorrows in the chat that we may hear from the gathered community. And we drop one final stone into the bowl to represent all the joys and sorrows left unspoken in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts. May all be held in the heart of love. I invite you to settle into this time of meditation or prayer by taking a breath together. Be aware of how your chair holds you as you sit. To relax your ears and shoulders and spine. And breathe and be now in this sacred time and space. Spirit of life, whom we have called by many names, in thanksgiving and in anguish, bless the poets and those who mourn. Send peace for the soldiers who did not make the wars, but whose lives were consumed by them. Let strong trees grow above the graves, far from home. Breathe through the arms of their branches. The earth will swallow your tears while the dead sing, "Remember me." For the wounded ones and those who receive them back, let there be someone ready when the memories come, when the scars pull and the buried metal moves. and forgiveness for those of us who were not there for our ignorance. And here are veterans in a forest of 1,000 fallen promises. Let new leaves of protest grow on the stumps. Give us courage to answer the cry of humanity's pain, and with our bare hands, out of full hearts, and with all our intelligence, let us create the peace. I invite you to join me in this litany on your own. After each stanza, to say with me, we lift up our hearts. For all who die in war, we lift up our hearts. For all who live in suffering in the aftermath of violence, we lift up our hearts. For all who give their lives in smoke and flame, we lift up our hearts. For all who go on in honor of the dead, we lift up our hearts. For all who have served, we lift up our hearts. For our country and our world, we lift up our hearts. For a planet that will find peace, we lift up our hearts. For the young and the innocent, we lift up our hearts. For the weary and war-torn, we lift up our hearts. For those who would pray, we lift up our hearts. For those too angry to cry, we lift up our hearts. For all of us, and for the many names of the divine, we lift up our hearts. We lift up our hearts. Shanti, shalom, peace, salam. Amen. Let us enter into the silence. With the silence we share, continue to
All the stories of compassion.
reading today is Let America Be America Again by Langston Hughes. And I'm delighted to have Tom Williams help me with this to give it the texture that I think Langston Hughes would have wanted. He wrote this in 1935 during the Great Depression. Let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plain, seeking a home where he himself is free.
America never was America to me.
Let America be the dream the dreamers dreamed. Let it be that great, strong land of love, where never kings connive nor tyrants scheme, that any man be crushed by one above.
It never was America to me.
Oh, let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath, but opportunity is real and life is free. Equality is in the air we breathe.
There's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this land of the free.
Say, who are you that mumbles in the dark? And who are you that draws your veil across the stars?
I am the poor white, fooled and pushed apart. I am the Negro bearing slavery scars. I am the red man driven from the land. I am the immigrant clutching the hope I seek and finding only the same old stupid plan of dog eat dog, of mighty crush the weak.
I am the young man full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient endless chain of profit, power, gain, of grab the land, of grab the gold, of grab the ways of satisfying need, of work the men, of take the pay, of owning everything for one's own greed.
I am the farmer, bondsman to the soil. I am the worker sold to the machine. I am the Negro servant to all. I am the people, humble, hungry, mean, hungry yet today despite the dream, beaten yet today, O pioneers. I am the man who never got ahead, the poorest worker bartered through the years.
Yet I'm the one who dreamt our basic dream in the old world, while still a serf of kings, who dreamt a dream so strong, so brave, so true, that even yet its mighty daring sings in every brick and stone, in every furrow turned, that's made America the land it has become. Oh, I'm the man who sailed those early seas in search of what I meant to be my home. For I'm the one who left dark Ireland's shore and Poland's plain and England's grassy lea, and torn from black Africa's strand, I came to build a homeland of the free.
The free? Who said the free? Not me. Surely not me. The millions on relief today, the millions shot down when we strike, the millions who have nothing for our pay, for all the dreams we've dreamed, and all the songs we've sung, and all the hopes we've held, and all the flags we've hung, the millions who have nothing for our pay except the dream that's almost dead today.
Oh, let America be America again, the land that never has been yet, and yet must be, the land where every man is free, the land that's mine, the poor man's, Indians, Negroes, me, who made America, whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain, must bring back our mighty dream again.
Sure, call me any ugly name you choose. The steel of freedom does not stain. From those who live with leeches on the people's lives, we must take back our land again, America.
Oh yes, I say it plain. America never was America to me, and yet I swear this oath, America will be.
Out of the rack and ruin of our gangster death, the rape and rot of graft and stealth and lies, we the people must redeem the land, the mines, the plants, the rivers, the mountains, and the endless plain. All the stretch of those green states, we make America again.
Thank you so much, Tom, for reading with me. And now we're grateful to have John Akers here again to share another song. Oh no, did we lose John?
I think we lost John, maybe.
Oh no, this is the best one. Rock, do you have a backup recording if he's not able to rejoin us?
I don't, but maybe go into the sermon and we might have John do it at the end if we can get him back. Is that okay?
Okay, that sounds great.
Okay.
Wonderful. And it's such a good song too. Yay. All right. Excellent. Oh, we got him. Yay. Oh, you're muted, John. Perfect.
Great. Thanks, Emma. See if I really didn't understand that I was just another part of the plan. I went looking for the promise, believing in the motherland. And from the comfort of a dreamer's bed and the safety of my own head, when I'm speaking of the future while other people fought and bled. The kid that I was when I first left home was looking for his freedom and a life of his own. But the freedom that he found wasn't quite as sweet when the truth was known. I have prayed for America. I was made for America. It's in my blood and in my bones. By the dawn's early light, by all I know is right, we're gonna reap what we have sown. Oh, 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 oh. As if freedom was a question of might, as if loyalty was black and white. You hear people say it all the time, my country wrong or right. Well, I want to know what that's got to do with what it takes to find out what's true. With everyone from the president on down trying to keep it from you. The thing I wonder about the dads and moms who send their sons to the Vietnams, will they really think their way of life has been protected when the next war comes? I prayed for America. I was made for America. A shining dream plays in my mind. By the rocket's red glare, generations blank stare. We better wake her up this time. Oh, 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 oh. Kid I was when I first left home was looking for his freedom and a life of his own. But the freedom that he found wasn't quite as sweet when the truth was known. I prayed for America. I was made for America. I can't let go till she comes round. Until the land of the free is awake and can see, till a conscience has been found. Oh, 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 oh. Oh.
Thank you. First of all, I realize it's been a while since I've written a sermon from scratch and preached. So, and it's the first time I've ever delivered a sermon this way where I can't see you all at the same time and pull on your energy and give back and forth. And so I'm excited to try this new medium and do my darndest to reach out and feel you like we do in this new world. But I'm so honored to connect with you this morning in this way. Yesterday, I hung out a flag for the weekend. It had been my mother's. I had never bought one myself. And when I put it up, my house came with a flag mounting, which worked out well. I felt conflicted as when I've considered buying a flag to hang in the past. What will people think I believe or stand for when they see it? I fear it is very different from the truth. I fear they will think that I buy into a kind of religious nationalism that believes that God loves America best, along with white, heterosexual, cisgendered, Christian men, and whatever serves them. But it was remembering family members of mine who have died in the service of our country, and my mom's story about the flag as a symbol of our commitment to the ideals of America that finally led me to put it up. I've been feeling this lately, especially with questions about my mother's memorial flag shadow box that some people have seen in the background at certain meetings, and why I felt I needed to address this topic in this sermon and address Memorial Day directly. The past few years, we've had an off-topic sermon because we've often had a guest minister. Political holidays, I think, can be particularly tricky for Unitarian Universalists and people who identify as theologically liberal. As in my dilemma of posting the flag, there are many angles in this to be held in dynamic tension. First, the actual meaning of this day, as Tom Williams mentioned, it was a decoration day after the Civil War, and since then, a time to remember those who died in wartime or in the service of our country. More than Veterans Day, this is a weekend when you will find flags on the graves of veterans. Imagine, vision Arlington Cemetery with its rows of white headstones and other war memorials. Often you could go to a cemetery on Memorial Day weekend and see so many flags. As a side note, it's interesting to know that many gravesites would not have had flags this year because of the dwindling members of Legion and Veterans Posts who usually put them up. And of course, this year with COVID-19, those people definitely not wanting to risk going out and the socializing that goes with putting up the flags each Memorial Day weekend, which I've done for many years with my mother and her post. Just to bring some numbers to mind because they are so vast. And these statistics are combat deaths only and American deaths only of lives that were lost in these wars. 300,000 in World War II, 48,000 approximately in Vietnam, 34,000 in Korea, 2,000 in Afghanistan, 4,000 in Iraq. Of course, there are so many other wars and battles and statistics, but needless to say, the group of Americans who have given their life for their country in combat is not small. And whatever we say, however we felt about whichever war or leader who was in charge during that war, let us remember their sacrifice and how that sacrifice forever changed the landscape of their families. The second thing that's hard is that we, as Unitarian Universalists or theological liberal persons, we tend to be a group of people that yearns for, works for, and prays for peace in the world. UUs tend to be among the people of faith who protest wars we believe to be unjust. And to my recollection, there have been UUs who have protested from Vietnam on. And of course, conscientious objectors. This does not mean that we disparage the sacrifices of our soldiers. This does not mean that we do not love and believe in the dream of America. But that we hold the ideal of a just America in front of us as a guide. And the third big factor, and this is the hardest one for me, especially this year after having read our UU Common Read, An Indigenous Person's History of the United States by Roxanne Dunbar Ortiz. A relevant fact from this book is she shares that we talk about no wars being fought on American soil, but if we count wars with and against indigenous nations, we have fought no less than 17 wars on American soil. I am disheartened knowing how often in our country's history we have waved the flag and told the story of fighting for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And we used this mythos and false patriotism to justify oppression, slavery, genocide, theft of land and resources, and murder. To get what we want, to expand our territories and make the so-called American dream possible, meant only for white Christians. In this new era of truth-telling, we are becoming aware that the stories we were told were not completely true and did not tell both sides of the story. I live in a family of history buffs, and war movies are often shared as a way of understanding certain elements of a particular war or time period, to understand why certain sides made the choices they did. I am particularly fond of some movies such as the new Midway. I know it's been done a million times, but the new one that shows both sides of the story, the Japanese and the American side, not just the American perspective as the good guy. But despite these disappointments in our history, I take hope. I take hope in the lessons of our Unitarian Universalist faith. I see our UU values, our 7 principles embedded in the founding documents of our country, particularly the inherent worth and dignity of every person, even if that's not what was meant at the time, that's what is written. Justice, equity, and compassion in human relationships, the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process, the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. And I remember perhaps one of the most important parts of our theology, often seen by our theologians in the double circle of our faith symbol. We've got, I don't know if you could see here, the chalice and then the double circles. Originally to symbolize the Unitarians and the Universalists coming together, but our theologians since then have talked about it being a symbol of our need to grow and process ourselves, that we will draw a circle to define ourselves and all that is humanity and life, and then we'll say, oops, we missed someone, we forgot, we made a mistake. And to have the courage to draw the circle again and again, to fix and make up for our mistakes, and to draw the circle wider. And thus our wonderful hymn, Draw the Circle Wide. I think this symbol says to me and to us as Unitarian Universalists and to America, we have and will make mistakes. We can't pretend like we ever have or ever will be perfect. Side note, perfection is an illusion and a tool of white supremacy that will keep us all trapped in chasing the unattainable. But what is attainable is the ability to look at our mistakes honestly, with humility, and to learn from them. My kids shared a powerful limerick from school when they were younger. It says, "Mistakes are great. They help us grow. They teach us what we need to know." To move forward from our mistakes, to honor the true American dream of liberty and justice for all, to honor those who have died in the service of this country and this dream, we must hold the truth of our mistakes in one hand and our ideals of the American dream in another, to find our way forward together. So I will hang my flag. I will work for a democratic society free from oppression. I feel this is my calling as a Unitarian Universalist and an American citizen. I will not give up hope. I will not let someone else tell me what it means to be a good American. With our founding documents in one hand and our UU principles in the other, I will learn from our mistakes and plan to find a way forward with our vast American community. I will answer the call. May we go forth in peace, in love, and remembrance this day, remembrance of the American dream. Not the tongue-in-cheek American dream, but a dream of a country that is just, democratic, and whose members are free from oppression. A dream our soldiers died for, a dream we are called to work for as citizens of this country every day. We remember the dream, and we will answer the call. May it be so, and amen. And because I so badly want to sing out the words with you, grant us courage, grant us wisdom. Our final hymn today is number 115, God of Grace and God of Glory. We invite you to remain muted and sing out joyfully from home, again creating a collective song wherever we find ourselves.
Bring its word to glorious Lord.
our chalice flame this morning, let us read together the words printed on our screens or our order of service. We extinguish this flame, but we keep its light in our hearts, with its message of love and justice, taking it outside these walls to the world we live in, until we are together again. Though we cannot be seated next to one another, we are still connected in this community. As we come to a close of our service, I invite you to follow the benediction with the words as you feel moved and comfortable. We remember the dream, we will answer the call. Please join us in typing these words into the chat together. I also invite you to share your video and touch the sides of your screen so that we might remember that we are all connected in this time and always. In the words of Frederick E. Gillis, may the love which overcomes all differences, which heals all wounds, which puts to flight all fears, which reconciles all who are separated, be in us and among us, now and always. And let the people of the church say, Amen.
We met a soulmate on Paris Island. We left as inmates from an asylum, and we were sharp as knives, and we were so gung-ho to lay down our lives. We came in spastic, like tameless horses. We left in plastic as numbered corpses, and we learned fast to travel light. Our arms were heavy, but our bellies were tight. We had no home front, we had no soft soap. They sent us Playboy, they gave us Bob Hope. We dug in deep and shot on sight, and prayed to Jesus Christ with all of our might. We had no cameras to shoot the landscape. We passed the hash pipe and played our doors tapes. And it was dark, so dark at night, and we held on to each other like brother to brother. We promised our mothers we'd write, and we would all go down together. We said we'd all go down together. Yes, we would all go down together. Remember Charlie, remember Baker. They left their childhood on every acre. And who was wrong and who was right? It didn't matter in the thick of the fight. We held the day in the palm of our night seemed to last as long as 6 weeks on Paris Island. We held the coastline, they held the highlands, and they were sharp as knives. They heard the hum of our motors, they counted the rotors and waited for us to arrive. And we would all go down together. We said we'd all go down together. Yes, we would all go down together.